Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy, Brandy Boy, back at it again with another Fallout 4 Mods of the Month video. The series where I cover a whole bunch of Fallout mods that came out within a particular month. This time, it's for June of 2022. June especially had a ton of great mods, ranging from overhauls to performance enhancements, plenty of new weapons, along with new enemies, clothes, quest, and a few other miscellaneous mods. No matter what your taste may be, you'll definitely want to download some of these mods to massively upgrade your Fallout 4 experience. As always, the links are in the description below. There's a lot to cover, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So first, I'd like to start out with a mod that addresses one of Fallout 4's biggest problems, the balancing. You have to admit, the balancing in Fallout 4 isn't too good, and everything ends up being a boring bullet sponge slugfest at higher levels, due to the infinitely scaling health of enemy NPCs. Luckily, we have just the mod to fix that. It's called SCOURGE, Unleveled and Standardized NPC Stats. It completely overhauls the health of every NPC in the game, and it gets rid of the infinite level scaling. So no longer will you see behemoths with over 10,000 HP. Instead, your enemies will be stuck at much more modest values. The range between health for NPCs of the same type got pretty ridiculous in the vanilla game. Humans, for example, could range from 40 all the way to over 1,000 HP. I know some people are tougher than others, but that gap is insane. With this mod though, humans will range from 80 to 120, so it brings up the minimum while also severely limiting the maximum. And that means no more gunners that can eat 308 for breakfast. Meanwhile, something like the Mirelurk Queen can range from 1,000 to 2,000 health points. If you happen to not like those exact health values, then you can always customize everything in the configuration menu. You can raise the maximum and minimum health values for each enemy type, and those NPCs will then spawn with a number in between those min and max values. It's not completely random either. The formula follows a bell curve, so most enemies will be somewhere in the middle, but there will be some really strong and really weak outliers. The only thing I don't like about this mod is that it just kinda ignores the whole rarity system of each enemy type. You know, like the difference between a low-level super mutant versus a super mutant overlord. With this mod, it's likely that you'll see lower-level super mutants having more health than their grizzled, more hardened leaders. Kind of unimmersive if you ask me, but that's just how the mod works. And honestly, if you just want a simple balancing overhaul that's easy to install and manage, then SCOURGE is your best bet. It's not just health values, by the way. You can adjust damage resistance and the speed multiplier as well, which is pretty neat. So you can make robots have higher damage resistance due to their steel bodies, while increasing the speed of mutated creatures, such as the fabled Deathclaw. It's all up to you, and that's the best part about this mod. Not only does it rebalance the whole game, but you can then adjust the balancing to your liking, and it's super easy to do. That easily makes SCOURGE one of the most revolutionary overhaul mods of all time, and I definitely recommend everyone to try it out, especially if you loathe those dreaded bullet sponges. Another area that Fallout 4 is particularly bad at is the performance and optimization. It's just not very good, and even with a high-end PC, you may still struggle to get a consistently high frame rate in some areas. But on lesser systems, it just may look like a PowerPoint slideshow. Well, fortunately, we've got just the right performance mod to help you out. It's called Rinkintosh's Performout. This mod overhauls every single texture in the game. The mod author painstakingly optimized every texture himself. Across the board, all the textures have been downsized to make it easier on your graphics card. With this mod installed, you'll get a few extra frames per second, and it'll help with stuttering as well. All the while, it barely sacrifices the quality. The downgrade in resolution isn't really noticeable in normal gameplay, only if you look very closely. The biggest changes I noticed were on smaller objects like grass and foliage, but for the most part, the quality is the same. So honestly, there's not much of a downside here. If you're on a lower-end PC especially, then you'll surely appreciate this performance mod. You know what? I'm not done with mods that fix problems with the base game. Another major issue lots of people complained about in Fallout 4 is the voiced player character. I personally think the voice actors did a great job on the sole survivor, but the big problem here is that it severely limits the role-playing aspect. It's definitely an odd decision from Bethesda, considering that all the other Fallout games have a silent player character. We can revert that change in Fallout 4 with a mod called Silent Protagonist. It completely mutes the player character, so you won't have to worry about hearing their voice anymore. The mod will also speed up dialogue in general, because your character won't have to actually say their line out loud. Once you click your dialogue option, it's then the NPC's turn to speak. I'd heavily recommend pairing this mod with another one called Extended Dialogue Interface. That'll allow you to see the entirety of your character's dialogue. That, and also remember to turn off the dialogue camera, and boom, it's just like the old Fallouts. Now, you can read out the whole line before making a decision, and imagine any voice you want, or read out the lines yourself. Either way, if you also prefer having the old school silent protagonist for role-playing purposes, then this is the perfect mod for you. And before we move on, there's still one more mod I want to cover that replaces and improves upon assets in the vanilla game. I'm talking about none other than the god-awful assault rifle. It's probably the most hated weapon design in the whole franchise, and for good reason. But anyway, I don't want to get too carried away on a long rant here. Let's focus on the mods to improve it. A mod called Assault Rifle Reanimated does exactly what you think. It completely overhauls the assault rifle with a brand new batch of lovely animations which are very smooth. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why the assault rifle is so hated. The animations for it are super lazy, and overall they look way too stiff. But these animations, my goodness, they are beautiful. Somehow they actually make the design of the rifle more bearable because of how the animations characterize the weapon as a heavyweight rifle. You can truly feel the weight when handling this obese machine gun. Still though, the design itself is kinda goofy, so I'd also recommend using DAC's assault rifle replacer alongside it if you want the ultimate assault rifle overhaul. With both of these mods combined, the assault rifle is actually a pretty solid design, and it's 10 times better than what Bethesda managed to muster up. So yeah, if you need something to replace the vanilla assault rifle, while still staying true to the vanilla theme, then these two mods would be the perfect fit for your load order. While we're on the topic of guns, let's jump into the best part, the gun mods. Starting with the American 180. Overall, this weapon mod just screams quality. Everything from the textures, to the animations, the customization, it's top notch in every aspect. The American 180 in particular is a very interesting and quirky firearm. It's aesthetically similar to the Thompson submachine gun, but with a big old disc magazine on top, rather than a traditional box mag. And instead of 45, this little guy is chambered in 22, so that does make this gun a pea shooter that deals low damage, but to make up for it, it does have a fast fire rate. Basically, it's death by 1,000 cuts with the American 180, and some enemies quite literally will take that many rounds to kill. But with the fast fire rate and giant magazine capacity of 165, you'll use it up quicker than you think. So make sure to craft plenty of 22 long rifle at the chem station. Also, if you've played New Vegas at all, then you've probably already recognized this as the 22 SMG. So that means this mod is 100% lore friendly, and I really appreciate how it was integrated seamlessly into Fallout 4. You'll find it naturally around the world from NPCs and containers. Okay, maybe it's not entirely lore friendly when it comes to the customization. For the attachments, there's a wide array of options to choose from. You can upgrade this gun with a bunch of modern tactical equipment and spray on some paint schemes and slap on sights and swap out different stocks and barrels and, all that good stuff. It's a heavily customizable weapon. That means you can make some truly cursed combinations, including a long barrel, heavy suppressor, sniper stock, extended mag pistol grip, and foregrip with Picatinny rails with the laser sight, and 3 scopes. One of them which is on the side for some reason, and then on top of one of the scopes is another laser sight. Oh, and another thing, it has explosive rounds. That's awesome. I call this one the Bubba Extreme, and I love it. Overall, this is a fantastic weapon mod, and I can tell lots of love went into making this one. Okay, next up on the list is the M14, a classic American rifle. But this mod in particular goes for a more modern variant of the M14. All around, this gun is beautiful. The textures, sounds, animations, attachments, everything. And it feels good to shoot. You can really feel the power behind each shot. The M14 is classified as a designated marksman rifle, which is designed to be used at long ranges. With its semi-automatic fire, you can keep up a steady barrage of 308 downrange. It makes for a very powerful and versatile rifle. With all the different attachments, you can kit it out to be either a true long-range sniper, or make it more of a medium to short-range battle rifle. There's tons of options all around. Scopes, grips, stocks, barrels, muzzles, magazines, lasers, and even different chassis. Just like most other gun mods, you'll find this one around the Commonwealth through the leveled list. Is it all lore-friendly though? I really don't care. I like this rifle. When it comes to DMRs specifically, I'd say this M14 mod is one of the best ones out there. Overall, it's high quality stuff, and the rifle itself is very addicting to use. If you're also into modern weapons, then I'm sure you'll enjoy this M14 mod. Now for something a little different. We've got the Rifles Rebirth mod. It's a collection of 6 new and unique guns. All the guns you see here are not from Fallout nor real life. They are original designs from the mod author, Skibida. As you can tell though, they do take inspiration from real life guns, and they are crafted in such a way that suits the Fallout theme. The IF-54 is an assault rifle that can be chambered in either 5.56 or 308. If you ask me, I'd say this one is modeled after the Galil. On the other hand is the TD-64. It's another assault rifle, but this one's chambered in 7.62x39. It's obviously based on the AK platform, and it also looks very similar to the Chinese assault rifle from Fallout 3. The TMP-45 is a submachine gun that can be chambered for either 10mm or 45 ACP. It looks eerily similar to the P90, with its unique shape and top-fed magazine, but this one is extremely oversized and chunky. Meanwhile, the LR-72 is a semi-automatic rifle chambered in 5.56. It looks like the Mini-14, but with a carry handle. Also, you can rechamber this one for 7.62x39, or even modify it to be full auto, but if you do that, then your settlement may get raided by the ATF. There's also the WH-77, a light machine gun that can be chambered in either 5.56 or 5mm, and it's also got that unique side magazine. I'd say this one obviously takes inspiration from the M249 SAW. Lastly, and certainly the greatest in chamber size, is the IF-AM50, a 50 caliber anti-material rifle. And you know what? It does kind of remind me of the AMR from New Vegas in some ways. All around, the designs are very creative, and I can really appreciate that they are made to fit Fallout's retro futuristic theme. As you may have noticed already, the guns have a fair amount of attachments, the typical stuff you'd expect. Sights, barrels, magazines, muzzles, stocks, all that good stuff. The only parts where I'd say this mod is lacking are the animations. Some of the guns simply use vanilla animations, and others borrow animations from other mods, so they don't always line up perfectly. Other than that, everything else is amazing. The implementation is another strong suit for this mod. You'll find the weapons scattered around the map in pre-placed locations. Locations that make sense, of course. You know, like military vehicles and armories. But if you'd like, there is an option in the mod's settings holotape to unleash the weapons into the leveled list. All around, this is a lovely weapons pack. If you prefer having fantastic guns over modern tactical ones, then Rifles Rebirth is definitely the mod for you. For another gun mod that fits perfectly into Fallout, we have the Handmade lever-action shotgun. As you can tell, it's a custom-made lever-action shotgun made from several different parts, all expertly put together to make a rather refined-looking shotgun, by Wastelander standards at least. But in all seriousness, it is a pretty cool design. By default, it does use the vanilla lever-action animations, so I'd heavily recommend picking up the bullet-counted reload patch, along with the right-handed animations for it. Whichever way you hold it, it doesn't matter. It's got loading ports on both sides, so you can load from the right and left side. Very interesting. When it comes to attachments, there's several options for stocks, barrels, sights, muzzles, magazine tubes, and even different ammo types, such as Dragon's Breath, railroad spikes, and even plasma pellets. The plasma variant is called Darcy. It's a golden shotgun which you can find after completing a short unmarked quest. For some reason, it's got a pair of binoculars as a scope, which is pretty funny. Whoever made this must have been high on jet. One thing I wanted to note is that if you use the extended tube with the bullet counted reload mod, then you'll only reload up to 5 shells when empty, and then you'll have to reload again to top off the rest. Kinda quirky, but don't blame the mod author. It's Bethesda's fault for not knowing how to count in the first place. Other than that, it's a pretty sweet shotgun mod. I love the unique and handmade design. It's definitely a perfect fit for the wasteland. that should be enough gun mods. For now. It's time for the melee enjoyers to rejoice, for we finally have another choice when it comes to high-quality melee weapon mods. It's called the Livewire Sword. Get this, it's a katana, but powered by electricity from a fusion core. Now that is rad. Essentially, you can think of this as a different version of the shish kebab, but instead of burning, it'll zap your enemies to death. The best part about this mod has gotta be the custom animations. They are taken from another mod called Cyberout77, so make sure to download that one first, and then get the patch. I absolutely adore these animations. They truly make you feel like a skilled samurai, rather than an oaf with a baseball bat. Since this is such a special sword, you won't find it in the leveled list, nor can you craft it from any random scrap parts. You'll have to go on quite the journey to find all the pieces through an unmarked quest. It all starts at the Hubris comic store, where you'll find the base katana. From there on, you'll have to hunt down the blueprints and the other parts. After everything's done, you can then go to a workbench and add on the special Livewire modification. Also, make sure to switch the animations to the proper katana moveset. And now, you've got the deadliest melee weapon in the whole wasteland. With the Livewire sword, you can cut through any beast, and if that's not enough, the power attack will fry their central nervous system and paralyze them. Then you can wail away as they helplessly sit there and watch as if they have sleep paralysis, and you're the demon tormenting them. Anyway, I really like this sword. It's got an enchanting, unique design that fits perfectly into the wasteland, and it's genuinely fun to use. This sword alone makes melee combat 10 times more enjoyable. Dare I say, it's one of the best melee weapon mods of all time. Now with all these new weapons, we ought to get some new enemies to obliterate them with. Cybermen of the Commonwealth adds in a brand new enemy type, the Cybermen. They are humans augmented with cybernetic technology. On the outside, they look like robots, but on the inside, there are some squishy human parts. The Cybermen originate from the Doctor Who TV show, and somehow, they've made their way into Fallout, thanks to the Institute. Honestly, they totally look like they could belong in the base game. I'd say that the overall aesthetic of the Cybermen certainly fits into Fallout's theme, and I could definitely see the Institute creating cyborgs like this. The Cybermen will spawn in the same leveled list as synths, so wherever you find synths, you'll also find a few Cybermen. There's 3 different types actually. The regular Cyberman, which uses a unique arm-mounted laser as its main weapon. Then there's the heavy Cyberman. Same thing really, but this one's got power armor and a Gatling laser. These ones especially can be kinda tough. Lastly, there's the rejected Cybermen. These are the ones that didn't adjust so well during the augmentation, and they went feral as a result. So instead of being with the synths and other Cybermen, they spawn alongside feral ghouls, and will flail around just like them. Whenever you manage to decommission these Cybermen, you can take their loot when they die. All Cybermen will drop plenty of valuable scrap components, such as aluminum and steel, so they're pretty good for farming that stuff. More specifically, the regular Cybermen will drop their arm laser, while the heavy Cybermen drops their entire power armor set. So yes, you can take their skin and wear it, just like a skinwalker, but with cyborg parts. First though, you'll have to clean the brains out of the power armor head, and then you can wear it as a helmet. That's kinda brutal. So yeah, you get a pretty good amount of content with this mod. New enemies, a new weapon, and a new power armor set. I don't even know who Doctor Who is, but this is a pretty cool mod, and it's always nice to see more enemy variety. If you're actually into the series, then I bet you'll like this mod even more. Now for the mod I'm sure you've all been waiting for, Vtaw Wardrobe, number 8. Now this mod is truly something else. It adds in an absurd amount of new clothing items and accessories. Over 280, in fact. It's got everything, from shirts to shorts, shoes, boots, high heels, glasses, bracelets, necklace, gloves, hats, dresses, skirts, leggings, pants, suits, vest, tank tops, underwear, outerwear. It's got everything. This mod has everything. But of course, most outfits are meant to be used with specific pieces as a set. These outfits are absolutely stunning, and the aesthetics are impeccable. I especially like the combat set the most. It's a good balance between practical and stylish. Most other sets though are purely for fashion, and they don't really fit into Fallout's theme. Some are downright spicy, and not meant for the wasteland at all, but that doesn't really matter if you're just looking to show off. I don't usually cover mods like this, but I do have to give credit where credit is due. and the people have already spoken. This mod actually won the #1 spot for Mod of the Month for June on the Nexus. And I can see why. Because everyone who plays Fallout are just a bunch of hormonal teenagers. But in all seriousness, the mod author did an outstanding job on all these outfits. The textures and overall designs themselves are immaculate. The textures are so detailed, in fact, that this mod is nearly 1 whole gigabyte. And that's not even counting the optional file that has different colors and materials. That will add on another 5 gigs. So yeah, this mod is definitely an incredibly huge outfit pack, probably the biggest one on the entire Nexus, and at the same time, it's also probably the highest quality. I cannot deny, I like these outfits, and this mod alone gave me a reason to play as a female character. The only thing here is that these outfits are for women only, but that doesn't matter too much because I know most of you guys play as tactical Barbie dolls anyway. There's still plenty more clothes that I haven't shown here, but if I did show everything, then this segment would probably be over 10 minutes long. So if you're interested, then go ahead and check out the mod's Nexus page. It's got screenshots of everything. I just wanted to show y'all some of my personal favorites. What can I say? Vtaw Wardrobe number 8 is a spectacular mod. Perhaps one of the greatest outfit packs of all time. Alright, now we've got a huge arsenal and a new wardrobe, but now we need to put them to use. With the Commonwealth Killer mod, you can become a cold and calculated bounty hunter. It's more than just random quest. The mod actually has a brief storyline. It all starts at Forest Grove Marsh, where you'll find the bounty hunter headquarters, called Rin and Associates. Simply walk in, and Mr. Rin will hire you on the spot. It's that easy. After that, you'll be assigned to several different bounty contracts. It's not always as simple as shoot to kill. Third parties may play a role, and sometimes other obstacles may arise, so you'll have to use other skills than just running in and gunning. At one point, you can even choose to hold out on killing someone, and depending on your decision, there will be different consequences. I don't want to spoil too much, but it is a rather short mod. After you complete the main quest, you can always go back to Mr. Rin for Radiant Quest, the ones where you'll be assigned to some random unnamed NPCs. Overall, pretty cool mod. I'm always a sucker for bounty hunting in video games, and this mod does a good job at providing you that role. While you're out adventuring, you'll definitely want to pick up some junk to use for crafting. Unfortunately, you can't scavenge the countless cars that you see in the Commonwealth, but with the Better Lootable Vehicles mod, you surely can. It's a rather simple mod. All it does is make cars into lootable containers, so when you walk up to a vehicle, it'll give you a prompt, just like any other container. You won't be finding any crazy loot in here, mostly just scrap and other old parts. It sure is useful though, and over time, you'll be able to scrounge up a bunch of valuable components. That's about it for this mod. It's a small change, but also a very immersive one. I see no reason to not download it. And finally, after all that looting and shooting, you may want to take a break and chill, maybe even play a tune. With the Select Guitar mod, you can do exactly that. First, you'll have to buy the guitar from a merchant at Bunker Hill. He'll sell you the guitar on display, along with the blueprints, so you can craft any color you want. You can take the guitars with you on the go, and simply place them down when you're ready to play. What's awesome about this mod is that you have to manually play the chords yourself. The mod does include a little sheet which shows you which numbers go with which chord. It may prove difficult at first, especially if you don't know how to play guitar, but once you master it, you can play any song you want. Personally, I have no clue how to play it myself, so this is what I sound like so far. I'm trying my best, okay? Anyway, this is quite an intriguing mod, especially if you're a guitar enthusiast. After a long day of killing raiders, you could take a break and rest at a campfire, then play a sweet, relaxing tune to ease the nerves. Now that is immersive. Overall, very cool mod. Because of this one, I'm gonna have to force myself to learn how to play, just so I can make some neat outros. And that'll wrap up my favorite mods of the month for June. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and enjoyed the mods. Make sure to endorse the mod pages to show support for the mod authors. And to support the channel, go ahead and eviscerate that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. And also, turn on that bell icon to get alerted every time I release a new video. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. But of course, most outfits are meant to be used. I can't fucking stop laughing at that shit. It's so funny.